How pretty much like asking you how much you'll lose by Kansas?
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a great way to put it. You're used to winning like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times. But then once you transition to college, sometimes that drops down to 3 out of 10 on a bad day. No, I'm mad impressed. This is actually so cool. I got to go to this place.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Benconnected. Just want to say thank you to our partners and our sponsors, Lodge 33, best hats in the game, and Dunk Cookies out in Saratoga Springs, Utah. Make sure to tap into both those companies. We love them. We appreciate them. Make sure to go hit them up. Today's episode is powered by them, so thank you so much. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Benconnected. Absolutely stoked to have y'all here. Appreciate y'all showing the love. Today's guest on episode 4 is an absolute stud. Local kid, killing it on the basketball court, but also killing it on the business world. One-time state champ, AF high school, has his own business while playing at BYU, Mr. Trey Stewart, on the show today.
What's up, Ben? Very fitting name, Benconnect.
You like that, right?
Yeah, because you just connected, bro. You got all the people you to plug, man.
Hey, that's what we do.
Exactly.
But let's start from scratch, man. Let's start from the beginning. Like, you're a high school kid playing ball, getting some offers. Talk about that, bro.
Yeah, just the typical high school path. I wasn't the greatest high school player, but, we made it work. No, we made it work. Had a very good team my senior year. Ended up winning a state championship and then got an offer to go play basketball at UVU with Coach Pope, but then he switched over to BYU and brought me with him. So
Sweet. So you originally committed to UVU?
Yeah, fly, wolves, fly. That's what I always said. And then everyone would look at me and be like, wolves don't fly. And I was like, bro, just come on.
It just sounded better.
It sounds cool.
It sounds cool.
What else does wolves do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's not another fly, wolves, fly. Fly, wolves, fly sounds cool.
So you're just one of one.
Facts, bro. We might need to make that a UVU shirt. Fly, wolves, fly. That'd be kind of hard.
You were training at Norm Performance. I see you in there, and everyone's like, yeah, this dude's super good. He's freaky athletic. And I was like, all right, like, I mean, it was like, cool. Like, I just got home from my mission. I didn't know who was. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, bro just, like, got done with a lift. You were, like, gassed, and you go in there and just, like, do some crazy East Bay dunk or something. I'm like, what? Like,
bro, that's how it was at high school, though, where your legs are just always good.
But, like, bro, like, we just did like, I'm talking, like, high-intense workout, and you just rolling out, like, just, like, banging stuff out like that.
Always got to be ready. Always got to be ready and pop out and show people, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
But I do, like, now that you say that about, like, high school, though, like, I remember in high school, dude, before games, like, I could go to Beto's and eat whatever I wanted, and I could go play and drop 30, and it was, like, cool.
My boy Isaac Johnson, he'd go to Del Taco or Taco Bell before every game, get like the $5 box or whatever, and then just go drop like 20, 30. No. I'm like, how are you doing that?
Okay, so you go to so you're at UVU. Well, you don't go to UVU. You're just because you're on a mission at that point.
Yeah, I committed to BYU. The switch happened before I left on my mission.
Okay, then you go, you come to BYU. I mean, obviously you're the man at AF with the team, right? You're big dog there. Is it the same at BYU, or is it kind of like
you know how it always is? You roll in.
No one.
Yeah, it's anything. It's like a job. It's like anything. Like you roll in, you have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
You get all the freshman hazing. You get all the new guy stuff, the adjustment, growing
pains. Was it pretty crazy or?
No, it wasn't crazy. But it was just like, it's typical stuff like you'd expect.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know. Like
you're carrying the basketballs, like all the random stuff.
Yeah,
like,
so all the small stuff you just have to learn. So it's a thick learning curve. But yeah.
How do you feel like your transition as far as like, obviously high school sports is high school sports, but like, and you're a top tier guy playing a high level in high school, you go to college, do you transition like super easy, or is it kind of like, hey, you gotta, and granted you got a mission too, but like, how is that?
The best thing like my psychologist told me was his name's Craig Manning. He was saying like in high school you're used to winning like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, but then once you transition to college, sometimes that drops down to 3 out of 10 on a bad day, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. And those who succeed are those who continually like push through that and are able to mentally handle losing 3 out of 10 times. And then once they keep going, keep progressing, then it kind of gets closer to 4 or 5. And then that elite levels once you get to like 6, 7, 8.
Super interesting to like have that like broken down, like, which is cool. Like, it sounds like you're taking other measures besides just basketball training, taking some mental stuff to, have a whole nother perspective too, which is tough. I mean, And the career, right? Like obviously you go to BYU as a dude out of high school. You know, obviously the goal is to play a lot, do all this stuff. You get to BYU, you don't play a lot.
I think I played like 27 minutes my whole freshman year. Really? So it was just a grind, like just sitting there, just clapping. And then we had a good team. Like there was obviously people ahead of me who were a lot better, so I had no issue with it. Yeah. But then the next 2 years were really rough just because I felt like I had that ability in me, but I just was never able to get over that hump. Like I had a little, like I had a little rough adjustment to be able to like actually become like a solid producing college basketball player. And I'm still in that growing area. Yeah. So it's a constant battle, and it's just learning and growing is all it is.
I don't know if maybe that's what led down the path of business, but I mean, you're doing that, you start, default happiness, and it's like goes crazy. Like
it was one of those things that like actually the start of it was funny because it was my freshman year. The whole NIL thing first dropped. It was the first year that it became like a thing. And we were in this class, and they were talking about like starting a business. And I always loved art. Like I did painted shoes in high school, but it was nothing serious. And then I had the idea to like start our own company, kind of centered around like sports psychology because I'm a psychology major. So all that kind of I messed with heavy, but it was just a different approach, and it was very helpful for me because like again I always talk about my sports psychologist because amazing, but we talk about how like you want to be balanced in your life. Like you want to have a lot of different things that you can turn to, like family, friends. For me, it's like my art, so like your work. Then I have sports. So just like certain things that you can always turn to. So then as I developed in my art thing, it just kind of grew, kept working at it, got better and better at it. Because it's funny to look back at your first stuff you make and you're like, like it's all right. But then like now to see where you are, it's really cool to see that transition.
No, for sure. I mean, I bet looking back on your art is probably like crazy just because you're like, wow, like this is kind of the mock-up stuff. And then now you're making stuff for Jordan Clarkson and freaking Dwayne Wade, bro. Like and doing fashion shows.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy adjustment. Yeah, it's fun.
Like, what is that kind of like, as far as how do you get to that point, right? Like, obviously, you start your company, you got your friends and stuff are supporting you, your family's like buying the stuff. Like, I remember when you dropped it, I was like, bro, let's get a T-shirt. I need a hoodie.
Exactly.
I need a shirt. Like, I got
he's
a ton
one
of
the dudes
stuff.
who showed love from day one, so I always appreciate it. And it's those people that like you really rock with, because like now I look back and see the stuff I was putting out, and I was like, wow, they even supported me then. So it's just really like y'all showed love, and I greatly appreciate that, because then that allowed me to get to where I am now.
Like you meet people in your life where you're just like, that person is just good, and like that person is just like solid. I feel like when I met you way back at Norton, like that's how I felt with you, and like it was like I felt weird because I was like, man, like I'm like this older dude. You're just in high school.
Funny though, because like we just clicked right away, and it was one of those things where you're like, yeah, like we gotta be cool, because it's just like it just made sense.
Yeah, I was like, because I mean, hypothetically, it's like, bro, what's this 20-year-old trying to be friends with this 18-year-old? Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then obviously not so much weird in Utah just because like the mission, it's normal, but like. I remember coming to AF high school to watch your games post-mission, to watch you and stuff and support you. And I've just always had just a supporting thing for you just because of who you are and what you do. And, like, even through the ups and downs of BYU, I've just been like, bro, he's just such a good dude. Like, and I'm not saying someone came in and was like, yeah, I'm going to just bless you and you just get everything given to you. Because, you're right, you said, like, you started your art from scratch to get to where you are. What was that process as far as getting connections to get to where you're at?
It was actually a funny process, because when I was in the NIL class that they had at our school, they had like a competition, and like the winner got money to start their company. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. And I'm thinking like, oh, I'm going to take this, because like I had a good business model, worked really hard, didn't end up winning anything. Yeah. And it was funny because before that I was like, things were going good when I first started it, and I was like, okay, I was like, when's my like first like pushback gonna come? And that was my big pushback. Really? And it was just like, it just like motivated me, because it was one of those things where you're like, oh dang, like like you can't count on handouts. So it's like, now I really have no funding, and I just gotta start this from like my business model and how I want to do it. So that's when I really like locked in, got everything going, and then I just slowly started working on my craft. When Dwayne Wade came and talked to us, and he talked about like moments. and like being ready for when those moments come, because like that's all life is. Like you look back at those tiny little memories with your friends, you look back at those little tiny forks in the road where like you made a decision that changed everything.
100%, good or bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
We've made a ton of those wrong
ton
ones,
of stupid mistakes,
especially high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but that's what it's all about, bro. It's just like it's all about making those mistakes, because then you grow as a person. And I just kind of felt me make mistakes, me do things that were good, and then I slowly grew and my skills became better and better. And then I ended up throwing a fashion show. It was funny. So Trevin's wife, Tatum, she told me, she was like, "Hey, you got to watch this fashion show. It's called Next in Fashion." Because there's a guy, Nigel Xavier, on there. And I watched it and I fell in love with it. I was like, man, I need to get a sewing machine. I want to learn how to sew.
So you never sewed before there?
Never sewed. So I started my company, and then 2 years into it, that's when I started sewing. Because before that, it was just like kind of tiny little custom work on shoes or whatever. So got the sewing machine. Boy, after I got that sewing machine, fell in love, decided to throw a fashion show. My coach at the time, Coach Pope, brought Ryan Smith to my fashion show.
Right. I mean, big time. The owner of the Jazz.
Which is crazy.
Pulling up to your fashion show.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where it's like, wow, like that's a blessing. And that's crazy how that happens, because like you look back at the fork in the road where it's like, okay, I could have stayed at UU, but I chose BYU. And then Pope brought Ryan, and he loved what I was doing. So then once Dwayne Wade came, I was ready for that call. I was ready for my moment. Made him a great piece. He loved it. And then that was one of my favorites.
If y'all haven't seen it, it is super tough. Make sure y'all see that.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorites. But yeah, it was just cool being able to give it to him, interact with him, because we gave it to him. And then the next day he came to our practice and he was rocking it. So that's where we got the picture. He was shooting around. So
like crazy, right? Like, I mean, because I grew up, obviously you probably did too, watching D Wade. 100%. Like,
bro, you remember that? Was it like 2012 Mavs finals with those two? Yes. Bro, I remember being in the driveway with my cousins. I was D Wade. My older cousin was LeBron.
So you do that stuff too?
Cousin, but yeah, you got to pretend like you're so, yeah.
Because I couldn't actually be a player, so I had to pretend.
Exactly. Like we can't all be Dwayne Wade, so we got to pretend.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was just such a surreal moment to just be there and just like have him show love. And then after that, Ryan's given me a lot of other opportunities, and that's opened other doors. Super cool. But yeah, really that Dwayne Wade piece really kind of took me to that next level.
100%. And what it's cool is like that connection, like you had no idea that like you falling in love with this fashion show was going to prepare you to be ready to make this piece for Dwayne Wade to then propel yourself to make even more connections. And right. And it's like, you didn't probably wake up that day before and was like, wow, Dwayne Wade's going to call me type thing, and we're going to make a piece for him, you know? Like, isn't that crazy? Like, those are, like, the best connections, you know? 100%. Because they're, like, so authentic because of the way they happen.
Yeah, I like the authenticity of a connection, because sometimes, like, you can tell. That's one thing that I hate about the business world. I love fashion, but I mainly love art. Like, I'm an artist before a businessman. Because there's like the spectrum where it's like you have the artist on one side, you have the businessman on the other side. Businessman is trying to monetize, make money. Artist is just so in love with the purity and sacredness of their art. And I feel like I'm very heavily on this side. So like if a businessman came in and saw my business, they'd be like, no, you can make so much more money. But it's like, no, I love art. Like I love creating that art. Where was I going with this?
That's powerful though. I mean, think about it. Like how powerful like that, like intuition is though with your art. Like, you're saying like you would rather just make good art than like make a lot of, like, obviously you got to make money, like just because like money, right? Money's money, but and it's just a byproduct. You can make money anywhere, but when you're doing something you love, money takes care of itself, or things like that take care of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm learning. So that's where I was going with this, where in terms of like the connections. See, look at you, great host. We connected. In terms of like the connections with people, like I feel like how serious and sacred I take art helps me be able to connect with people and like really show them love, because it's like, okay, like someone will come to me like, oh, I want a piece, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, tell me about yourself, or like tell me your story, give me some pictures and stuff, like just kind of making pieces that are representative of the individual, and then immediately there we have a deeper connection. And then we just become friends. And it was like the same with like some other people I got connected with. Like there was this one guy, Paul Lindquist, dope dude at BYU. We always showed love. Like he came to one of our practices a while ago. Then me and Trevin went to a corporate, like BYU corporate golf tournament, and he was our partner. And we just like, from there, it was lit, it was great. Then I went to New York, and he's funding this Broadway musical that just won a Tony Award. and he got us tickets there. So we went to that musical for free, which was awesome.
Right, New York, just a musical in New York is expensive. Let alone like you're just going and like it actually means something to you. You know what I mean? Like it's actually like you're absorbing it.
100%. So then I went to the musical. He set up a Q&A for us after with like the cast and stuff. Wow. And there was like the fashion designer, like the costume designers there. I got talking to them, got their numbers and stuff like that. So like it's just like those connections where you're like, how did that come about?
Just golfing. At a golf event.
Just golfing.
Meet someone.
Even before that, it was just like saying hi to a dude on the sideline. So it's just crazy how like all that.
When I was like, yeah, bro, I want a piece. And I was trying to kind of like a car guy, but also like a deal maker. And you're like, okay, I got some ideas. And then came out with an unbelievable piece for me.
Thank you.
Super sick. That. 2 dudes on a fence making a deal. And then with the truck.
Exactly.
And we'll show it on the episode. We'll make sure it's showed. But like, you know, you did a couple of pieces for Jackson Dart too. Ole Miss quarterback, local kid too, which is cool. And like what's interesting is like I feel like fashion's kind of becoming a new wave, but not in a way of like something that's just trendy. I feel like people are now like I feel like COVID kind of started it, where like people kind of tapped into their true inner self, and like I think a lot more real personalities came out during that time because like the world was shut down, so you became a little bit more slow paced, where you're like, okay, like. What do I actually like? What do I actually enjoy?
100%.
You know? And it's
like that's one thing. Like my motto was always like, "He who creates art shall share his mind with the world." And I love that quote because I like what you said. Like during COVID, people are locked in and allowed them time to like personally reflect. 100%. And a lot of times, like you can go other places for inspiration and see stuff, but if you really like intentionally try to fight to put out art that's you and original, that's where like a lot of ideas come. Like there's this quote that says, "The richest place in the world or most valuable place in the world is a graveyard because there lies ideas that were never brought to fruition."
Oh wow.
So it's kind of like deep stuff like that where you're like
that's deep.
Yeah. Like once you get people to like be locked in and then all of a sudden people are like reflecting in on themselves and then they have all these ideas and then they want to express themselves, and art's just a great avenue for that.
And like you're still doing that and still showing up for your team while not getting love. How do you like mentally stay locked in like that?
Yeah, it was part of like a prioritizing thing, and I think when you have a lot on your plate, you'd be surprised how you're able to fit it in, because then you like really prioritize like what do I kind of value. Like I can't sit here and scroll on Instagram for 30 minutes. I gotta go like do homework. And that's the other thing is I graduated college in 3 years, so I already got my degree.
Oh, so you already.
So I was taking summer, spring. I was just like hauling through school.
Wow.
Because I was amazed how I was able to do it, because it was like, okay, morning, that's time for schoolwork. And then it's like mid-afternoon is basketball practice. And that's like be where you are, like be present at wherever you're doing. It's like schoolwork. It allowed me to really be present because I'm like, I got 3 hours, or else if I don't get it done now, then that's going to cut into my sewing time later. So it's like a whole spectrum of things where you're like, okay, I got to do this. I got to work really hard here. Then I go sew, maybe go back to the gym, get more shots, work again. A lot of late nights, a lot of random little projects where I just had to rush stuff. But it was just really good for me able to see how much I could handle and how much I could get done. So, yeah.
Like, obviously, for, like, this sake, you know, make sure you're scrolling, make sure you're, like, in this podcast.
Make sure you're on here listening.
and Default Happiness, make sure you're on y'all's. Hey, come on.
Exactly.
Make sure you're on the page.
There's a healthy balance of things, because it's good to, like, have little breaks and stuff to let your mind, like, just be relaxed for a second.
Yeah, all things in moderation, right? Exactly. Which is good. But, like, I mean, you guys had, then, I mean, this season, y'all had some big wins. Crazy. Y'all beat Kansas in Kansas. Walk me through that, bro. Like, I mean, like.
So it was a very, like, we were very motivated. Obviously, we were motivated every game, but that game in particular, because even our own fans doubted us, which was very frustrating. Right. We're all preseason, all throughout the year, everyone would come up to us and give us the, oh, how do you guys think you'll do against Kansas, with, like, the little tone that they'd say it in. It was just very disrespectful. Yeah.
Hey, how do you guys do versus everyone else? But how do you think you'll? Pretty much like asking you how much you'll lose by Kansas.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a great way to put it.
So do you think you'll lose by 5 or 10?
Bro, people ask the dumbest questions. It's like, why would I? Like, I'm on the team. Why would I say oh, I don't think we'll do that good. Right. Like, it's just such like almost a rhetorical question where it's like you just wanted to make a statement to me.
Yeah, you might as well came up to you and be like, I think you're going to lose by 15.
Yeah. No, that's the greatest way to put it. Yeah.
But anyway, so people are outing you. You're kind of getting annoyed. People are asking you stupid
one
questions.
Of those things that, like, we definitely had that game marked on our calendar, so we just went in there, kind of took care of business. It was good. But
what was that atmosphere though? Like,
bro, it's such a surreal thing because like you're sitting there and like, granted, like we're obviously focused. You're trying not to get like a little bit like start like you're like we're in Kansas. Like this is a mecca of like it was just great.
Kind of a juggernaut of staple of college basketball. Like that is like a big moment.
Crazy, but yeah, we were just there, played a great game. Team worked together, took care of business, and it was just one of those things where like we get in the locker room after, and we were just like. We just beat Kansas. Like, it was just crazy. And, like, all of a sudden we go out, all our fans are there. Yeah. In the tunnel. It was just great energy, one of the greatest days.
Yeah, people were waiting at the airport, weren't they? At like 2
a.m.?
Waiting
at the airport, too. It was like 3 a.m. because our flight got delayed with snow. But
now they rocking with y'all.
I know, exactly. So, yeah, it was just such a beautiful thing. And it was just fun for all of us to, like, turn to each other and just be like, man, we did that. And that's something that we can always, like, look back on and bond over. Because that's like, man, we really went to war that whole season. And against all the odds, like, yeah, did it.
Well, so we just signed a hat company. I just partnered up with Lodge 33. Super good dudes. Like, I've been buying their hats forever. Super authentic, super real. Got my little bro a hat when he signed with BYU, right? Just instant. That day, I think I texted the guy. I was like, yo, like, I know this is crazy because you make a one-of-one hat for him on signing day and does it. And, like, but the partnership is, like, so authentic that it's, like, I'm not just like DMing him like, hey, can I get a free hat? Like, I just because I know people. Like, it's like, hey, how can we grow together? How can I introduce you to people? So today on the show, I wanted to partner up with my boy Lodge 33. They obviously are very good at what they do. Your fashion is unreal. So we kind of talked to him, and I was like, hey, how are we going to make this hat? And he made you a super dope hat. I hope you love it as much as I loved it, because I wanted it after, I'll be honest. Like, he gave it, he showed it to me, and I was like,
don't tell him we got him a hat.
So today we got you a camoed out BYU one-of-one hat.
I'm going to move this. Now that's tough.
As a fashion guy.
See, I needed the camo, too. The camo is just a nice staple.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a nice little pregame fit.
See, we'll pull a little fashion move here. Watch, we're going to take the hoodie off.
Okay.
Black, camo, and red.
Crazy. Bro, it's like you just, like, and I didn't plan to wear the camo with that.
See, this is perfect.
Bro, I was wearing, like, a Hello Kitty backpack type thing.
Listen,
thinking that was cool.
That's tough, though. Okay, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you rock it, you rock it.
I thought I had so much drip in high school, dude. Like, I was like, bro, I'm swaggy. Like, I look good.
Like, hey, look where you are now. I got you.
As an artist, I bet you would probably, like, when you're creating art, you're thinking, okay, when this person is literally styling this fit, it's gelling with them. It's not just, I'm going to put on a hoodie. Yeah. It doesn't turn into that. When I wear your hoodie, I'm like, all right, like, I'm going out somewhere and, like, I'm making a point. Like, I'm wearing Default Happiness. I'm wearing my boy's hoodie that he made, one-of-one.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is the idea that people are canvases. Okay. So whenever anybody hits me up to make a piece, it's awesome to, like, see how they're different canvases. Because one thing that you make for someone is not going to work for someone else. Right. So, like, this WNBA coach, she's coach for the Chicago Sky, she hit me up, swagged out. Her name's Ty Young. Okay. Called her TY1, always dressing out. Okay. And, I made her this cool Chicago Skyline hoodie. And it was one of those things where it was like, okay, who is she? What's her vibe? What's everything? And it's like, okay, this person's a canvas. So you're giving them something that they can wear that's representative of them, but then they can also, like, I like how you said, like, style it. And, like, put it in their whole wardrobe. Like, you got to take in consideration, like, okay, what pants would you, like, pick an outfit with this? Yeah. Because, I mean, when you have something on that, like, you feel good and you feel good. For sure. And that's what it's about, is, like, wearing something that, like, you really feel good in and confident in.
Pre-game fits, for an example. Right. Like, everyone's pulling up to games, getting photography of their pre-game fit. That was not a thing, you know?
No. You want to know who started that?
Who started it?
Her name's Callie Ann. She's Dwayne Wade's stylist.
Really?
So I got connected with Callie Ann through Dwayne Wade, which was cool.
Crazy connection.
Exactly. Because, like, she's one of the craziest, like, she's head of the industry, like, legend. Yeah. But she actually started the pregame tunnel fit. Okay. Because her and Wade, she was getting Wade fitted out, and then other people took notice, and then you get a bunch of competitive dudes, and they're like, okay, maybe I need to start putting some on to like compete with them, and then other people Braun, other people hopped on, and then tunnel fits took off.
A lot of people on paper would be like, oh, Trey, transfer, you could go somewhere else and play more, and if it's fully about basketball. And what makes you want to like just like stay at BYU, after kind of going through the ups and downs, like, is it, I'm curious of what, what's your motivation?
My whole mentality has just been like, you won't grow as a person if you just keep going and chasing places that will be easy for you. Right. I get it. There's different reasons to transfer, and like you need to find an environment that's good and healthy for you. Yeah. But I've obviously had a lot of struggles. I've had a lot of like blocks in my road. But looking back, it's like I'm so grateful for those like times of trial, because it's like that created the person I am right now. So I feel like if I would have transferred and went somewhere else, I would have learned lessons. But it's like I probably would have ended up being the same person I was there for a while. And then let's say I did do good or I did grow, I feel like I'd learn those lessons a lot later. Right. So I'd be a lot more behind in life. So that was one of my key motivators of staying, is it was just like, no, like a true character is shown in times of trial and struggle. And I want to have that opportunity, and I have an opportunity in front of me where I can grow as a character and figure out how to make my environment around me, like figure out how I can work with my environment rather than just going and chasing somewhere easier.
Yeah, just dip out. I mean, powerful, the great insight for young hoopers that, you see it at now the high school level. You're seeing dudes that are like, hey, I'm not playing in my JV team, so I'm going to go transfer, right? Like,
and it's crazy to me because like I didn't play my freshman year. Yeah. And it was just one of those things where it was like, okay, I just got to work. Right. And it's like, just have that mentality where like in the season, like last year and other times where I wasn't playing as much, it's like, okay, I just got to get better, rather than like, oh, it's this person's fault or this person's fault. It's just like a mentality that's very toxic that a lot of people have nowadays, where it's like, no, your fault. It's like, no, look in the mirror, grow yourself as a character, and then try to become better.
Those connections led you to a path that is platformed you way further than going after maybe just a little bit of a moment of playing more or things like that,
Because like that was my way in at the end of this year, where a lot of people were telling me to transfer. Because at the time Pope was still going to stay. And I just kind of sat there and I realized like the network that I built, for sure, where I was like, I have so many people who will get me, because at the end of the day, basketball will stop. Like it'll end one of these days. But I have such a good network right now, and such a good place where it's like, why would I throw that all away just to go somewhere that's easier for me, or go somewhere where it's like, oh, I can just play and do whatever. It's like, that's not really what I'm about.
Maybe it's for whatever reason, but like long term, like you meet people for a reason, and you have these people in your life for a reason at the time you do, and it leads you to so many other great things. And I think you've kind of found that at an early age, which is super cool. And like, I think it just speaks volumes of where your mind is. I mean, I was not that way when I was your age. I was like,
I had one with a lady the other day. She ended up like, we land, all of a sudden she showed me pictures of her kid. Like I was like, man, like we're just homies now, follow each other on Instagram. Like, nice to meet you.
Yeah, just like you're just on a plane, dude.
Yeah,
like it's crazy. And like, so prime example, another people that we just partnered with is Dunked Cookies out in Saratoga Springs. So I go in there and check out the store. It's super cool vibe. I'm gonna have to take you there. Super dope. I go in and we start talking and we get to know the owners, and it's like just so authentic, so real, down to earth people, humble, and just like, yeah, man, this is our store, this is what it is, family owned. And I was like, man, this is unbelievable. So like, it was easy to partner with them. And today I wanted to provide, well, they provided, I didn't do anything, I didn't cook anything, let's be real, because if I had cooked it, we probably wouldn't have a good experience. But they provided a box of cookies. Let me grab it real quick so we can bust them out real quick.
That's the cookie box?
This is the cookie box. I know you were wishing I got you shoes, but like, I didn't get you shoes. Yeah, so this 5C is crazy. So it's called when you go into Dunked Cookies, it's the starting five. You can get, like, it's cool. So, like, if you get a single cookie, it's called a free agent. Like, it's really, like, sport themed, right? Everyone go check it out. But, bro, so I'll let you open it up. So
in a shoebox, that's so tough, bro.
In the shoebox is crazy.
No, that's actually fire. No, this is creative. See, I love creative
people. As an artist, you would appreciate this.
Okay, this one. Ooh.
The OG cookie.
Ooh, I love the packaging on this.
And then the last one is Stockton to Malone, bro.
Bro, man, they really are creative with this, bro.
Right?
No, I'm mad impressed. This is actually so cool. I gotta go to this place.
All right, bro. So we got dunked cookies for my boy. I already had like 5 cookies today, so I feel like I shouldn't eat some. So I got you one.
Look at that. Look at that.
Bro,
Oh.
the gold digger, the only gold digger you actually like right now.
The only gold digger, bro. No gold diggers around here, bro.
Yeah, we don't mess with that.
Nah, this one's actually crazy.
There's a little caramel on top, bro, or inside. That's crazy.
Ooh.
So not only are they like top tier as far as like aesthetics, the quality, everything, bro. So make sure y'all tap in and dunk cookies out in Saratoga Springs. I'm trying to get them into BYU or something. That'd be tough.